We've got news moms can use.
What was that name again? I missed that.
News moms can use.
Brought to you by Therapon Skin Health, helping moms have healthy, youthful-looking skin for 20 years.
Right now, we're going to get to a good news story after my very serious commentary. Angie Austin in the house. Angie, as a former TV anchor in Los Angeles and here in Denver, now has her own show called The Good News on KLVZ. It also airs on KLZ and 560, AM 560, and KLTT, AM 670. Radio weekdays at 4, and I think also now at 5. Is that right, Angie?
Let's see, I've got one show at 4, and then on KLVZ, and The Good News is also now on KLTT, AM 670 at 1 o'clock, and you can stream it on the radio. Or if you want to hear some good news, just go to my website, angieaustinradio.com.
And man, could we use some good news, Angie?
You know, that's what I do all week now is search for, because you and I know that working in the news business all the years we did, it can really steal your soul. Yeah. And as my producer put it, because he worked during Columbine, he said he was told to make a phone call to a victim's family, and he didn't want to do it. And as his producer cursed at him and told him there were 100 other people trying to reach that victim's family as he spoke, he said, my producer said, I felt like a vulture circling tragedies.
Yeah, absolutely. I did too. I used to feel apologetic. In fact, once I was concerned I would get fired because I refused to do something that one of my news directors asked me, which was to go into a funeral and talk to a funeral home and talk to parents who had just lost children. I said I won't do it. I didn't get fired, but I was worried I would. But we've got some good news. Tell us about it today, Angie.
Yes, we do. Well, there are a couple of things that I found this week that I think really go into that whole theme of the 26 acts of kindness in honor of the people who lost their lives in Connecticut in the shootings. Mm-hmm. And so that's gone viral with people saying, hey, you know what? We can't do anything personally about what has already happened, but what can we do personally to make the world a better place? I'm really tired of kind of people in their easy chair complaining about how bad our world is. I just met a captain and interviewed him, Captain Derry, just returned from Afghanistan, and he said, Angie, I'm so glad to be back. We have an amazing country. There's so much good here. I said, I know that. That's why I do the good news. Yeah. And so I want people to personally take responsibility for what they can do to make the world a better place. And, you know, I'm not just saying go, out and buy a cup of coffee, because the sergeant actually talked about how much it meant to him when we would go to this website and buy cups of coffee for the troops and send a note to them. And I'll give you that website before we end, because for $2 you can do that, right? Yeah. So that is a small act. And he said sometimes the notes would make him cry, because you get to send a note along with the cup of coffee for $2. Okay.
Nice.
Yeah, I know, isn't that cool?
Yeah, and so tell me, what are some other, there have been some literal acts that have arisen from this challenge?
Go ahead, yes. Well, the one out of Texas that I just found that was a good news act that I used this week on my show, a young father, he and his wife are down on their luck, and he got pulled over by a police officer in Texas because he didn't have any registration. And so the cop was scolding him, and he said, look, I have to be honest with you, my wife doesn't have registration either. It's feed the kids or get the registration. Like, I can't afford it right now. I don't have the money. Mm-hmm. So the cop handed him his citation, and then when he opened it up, there was $100 inside.
Oh!
And he said he just started crying in his car, because he said, I just broke down. Well, then his grandfather actually made it public, and his grandfather, in his interview, starts to cry, and he says, these things it's hard for me to talk about these things. It just means so much to me that he'd help my grandson. And the officer didn't want to be recognized, but it reminds me of the officer in New York who just a few weeks back saw a homeless man in the cold without any boots, and there was a picture of him taken of the homeless guy with the boots on, and a woman had taken it because these officers didn't want to be recognized. Yeah. But it went viral, of course, and he got recognized for buying these guys boots. Well, I'm just thinking of things locally that, we can do. Personally, we were talking just now, you were talking about families and how we have a responsibility to raise our own kids in a manner that can protect society by making them good citizens, and that comes largely from spending time with them, quality time with them. Yeah. Now, I'm not overlooking mental illness, but in general, like you said, if you spend more time, your kids are less likely to have deviant behavior. Less likely.
Correct. Right.
So
that's all
you
we're
and
saying.
I both have made, I've taken a big financial hit in working part-time now and doing Good News Show, because I'm not working for a big network anymore, making a huge salary. Right. Now, I make a smaller salary, but I have so much more joy in my wallet, even though it's a little emptier. and I have a lot of time with my family. With that said, I also get to volunteer. Yesterday I went to the rescue mission. One of the families that accompanied me, because I started a Good News volunteer crew with my show.
Oh, good for you, Angie. I want to be, can I come sometime?
Yes, you can.
Okay.
Yes, you can. So I just put on my Facebook page, here's what we're doing. And I give people a little lead time, and they can sign up or not sign up, so they don't have to make a commitment for the year. And one of the families that came yesterday, he wrote me afterwards and said, Angie, we both just lost our jobs, and it really was an eye-opener for us to see people who are truly down in their luck and realize that this is just a bump in the road for us. I had no idea they were both unemployed, and they brought their son.
Oh.
I also met another family there that was on my show that the mother had been raised in the projects of Chicago, and she now has brought her family here, and she has her sons back because she spent some time in prison. She became a Christian here, and her life's really turned around. And I got to meet the boys yesterday. Well, I brought them something, but I found out yesterday that they don't have scooters. And so I just decided, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and get them scooters. It's, not a huge step, but I think it might bring a little joy to these boys' lives.
Yeah.
And then something else you and I have discussed.
Let me tell you, we got 30 seconds for your last bit.
Family Volunteer Day. That's what we do now as a family.
Oh, that's a great idea.
With all the kids today, we go to the women's shelter, we bake brownies, and we hang out and play games with these ladies, and they love it, and my kids love it.
Quick, that website.
Oh, for the green beans, just search coffee for Cup of Joe for a soldier.
Cup of Joe for a soldier.
Cup of Joe for a soldier.
And you know what? I can hear your kids there in the background.
I know, they keep coming in.
But you're such a good mama. You're such a good mama.
God bless you. Merry Christmas.
God bless you, too. Thank you for those good news stories. It made me feel better after such a tough week.
Good.
Merry Christmas, Angie. Take care. All righty. I just love her. We're going to have her on occasion to do her good news stuff because I just want to pay attention to the good news stories out there. Okay.